Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking time to join us today. All right, without further ado, we shall now proceed to start today's webinar. My name is Annie and I'm from Eblity. So for those of you who have just joined us, welcome to our webinar. Before we move on, I would like everyone to take a minute to participate in a little poll that we have put together. Well, this would allow us to get to know you a little better. So I will be launching the polling segment right now. So I would appreciate if everyone can take a minute to participate in this little polling segment. So you should be able to view the polling questions on your screen right now. Okay, so please proceed to cast your vote. I'll be leaving it open for the next 10 seconds. And secondly, if you do have any questions, during the presentation, please feel free to type your questions into the question box located within the control panel. So this is only applicable for Zoom participants. For those of you watching this live streaming via Facebook, you may do so by simply typing your questions onto Facebook. So we will try to bring up as many questions during the question and answer segment. All right, so of course, I know that all of you out there are waiting, are eager to, have me start this webinar. But before that, please let me end the poll. Okay, and we have not only one, we have two special guests for today's webinar. Okay, so for today's webinar is all about why my child cannot study well, and is brought to you by Eblity and Inpsychful. So Eblity is basically a technology platform that helps to craft personalized plans for each student. So it brings the expertise together required for each intervention on demand and gets all the team members on one page. So for our guest speaker, we have Miss Camellia Wong and Miss Leong. They are both from Inpsychful. And without further ado, I shall hand over to Camellia and Mint, and they will, share further about their backgrounds with everybody. So over to you, Camellia and Mint.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, I don't know where's Mint. I think she's not showing up on her video.
Yeah, please take it away.
You're muted. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Annie.
Online, Mint. We can't hear you. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Mint, welcome.
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, hi, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's webinar. So my name is Camellia, and together with me, I have Mint. Collectively, we have 30 or more years of work experience working with children and youth for all walks of life, from different, not just academic ability, but also behavioral challenges, and also different kinds of success pathways that the child may be embarking on. So over the years, we have then moved on to work with parents who experience challenges, either motivating their child, building resilience in their children, or having children who experience behavioral issues either in the home or in school. Okay, so today, especially for this webinar, we have gotten permission from two individuals for us to share their life story and also how they started out as academic unachievers. Okay, so the first individual you can see from 8 years old. Okay, this individual constantly has been told that academically that she's not doing well. Okay, in Chinese, in math, in reading, in spelling, even as young as kindergarten, 5 or 6 years old. This child's parent has been getting calls every other day about the child's lack of academic achievement. Okay, at 9 years old, in caps, okay, the teacher wrote this in the report book, needs to put in more effort in her work. Yet 10, she was still told they need to spend more time on her academic work. She's capable of better results. Okay, at 11 years old, okay, must put more thought and heart into her schoolwork. Okay, so you can see at the earlier years already, she's not doing well in school. Okay, now at 12 years old, okay, you can see her academic grades. Chinese 39, mathematics 38, science 35, social studies 64. Okay, not that great here in Singapore's academic system. Okay, and if you look at this part in red, okay, she's being put in EM3, okay, stream 3. Now, for those of you who are not from Singapore, this basically means that this individual it's put in the academically lowest stream. Okay, and usually it's not a large number of these students that actually go to that stream. It's probably about maybe 10 or 15 students actually end up in the lower band, the lowest band stream. Okay. And then she moved on, secondary school, okay, did N levels, not that great. You can see 4 means it's a lower B, 3 it's a higher B. So you can see mostly Bs. Okay, O levels, those of you who are familiar with the Singapore O level system, L1, R5 points, 30. It means she can't go to the junior college at all. Okay, junior college cutoff point is at 20. It's very competitive here. Can't go JC at all. L1, R4, it means, L1 means language. Okay, so 1 language score, and then 4 or 5 other subjects, depending on where she's gonna go. So L1, R4, you can see here, 23 points. Usually to be competitive, you should be scoring between 12 and 16 to really go anywhere. In modern day Singapore, a lot of students are scoring single digits. Okay, they're scoring at the 9s, 10s, or 11s just to get into the course that they want in our local polytechnics. So you can see here at 23, essentially, it's not looking great for her academically. He actually progressed on, amazingly managed to get into a degree. Okay, somehow you can see Bachelor of Arts, 2.67 upon 4.0 GPA. Again, it's still C. Okay, not that great. Okay, now the next thing is amazingly this individual somehow managed to get into postgrad, and you can see the GPA now is a 3.69 upon 4.0. Okay, this is at the stage where this is probably around an A- grade comparing to how she has been scoring in the, academically, right? And then Mint also has an individual that allow her to share their story.
Okay, so this individual here, this is her O-level certification, and as you can see, it's mostly C and Ds, especially for English and also for mathematics, because in a Singapore context, if you score a D7, you need a minimum C5 to get into polytechnics and junior college, and even junior college, even polytechnics. So what happens is that this individual, after getting and achieving her O-level results, she couldn't, even despite being and scoring 26 points, she cannot go into polytechnic. She has to go to an ITE. So an ITE is actually also like, it's vocational focus, vocational centric skill training institution, and that is where she goes into. Can we have the next slide, please, Cam? Thank you. And as you can see, this individual here, again, all the grades are F and Ds, 0 credits earned, there is no achievement, and then this individual actually dropped out of this Institute of Technical Education, right? So she went on to try again and achieve results. She retook her O-level, got a pass, barely a pass in mathematics, and she made it into a polytechnic after that. But she continued to study for 5 years, and she was dismissed at the end because back then, in order to get a passing grade, it has to be 2.0 minimally. Okay, some of you commented that the slides are a little too small. Maybe have you maximized your screen? If not, then maybe you want to, and you can actually screen our face to become smaller. Yeah, otherwise later we can, maybe we can zoom in for you. Okay, but I will be verbally telling you that so you can actually know what is it, okay? Thank you so much. Yes, we can zoom. Okay, let's try to maximize it and see. I don't think we can.
I don't think we can zoom via the slideshow.
Yeah, so as of the last that we have heard, she was dismissed from Polytechnic after 5 years. By the way, Polytechnic years are supposed to be 3 or 4 maximum. She maxed out her years in Polytechnic and she got dismissed. Even so, she got dismissed at the end. So after that, this individual here, she was thinking about how education actually work and how to grow and how to help more children. So can we have the next slide? So she spent the next following years studying about education, why is it that, you know, she cannot perform. And yep, so she worked with children and youths to try and improve their academic grades. So the focus was to improve and achieve success as well. And as you can see on the left, this is one of her students who cannot score from 0 out of 10 to 5 out of 10 to eventually being able to write questions and for her parent and mark the question. Yeah, so that is her. Just a quick question. Can all of you take a look at the screen on the left, the picture, the screenshot on the left, the spelling on the 17th of January 2019, and roughly tell me how old is this child? Just a quick one in 10 seconds. How old do you think this child is based on the spelling that he or she has given? 9, 5, okay, 9, yep. Primary 1, okay, 6. I see a few numbers, that's 7, 10. Oh, okay. 5, 7, maybe 5. Okay, most of you had between 5 to 7. Right. Let me review the answer. This student is 10 years of age. Okay, so some of you got the right answer. She's 10 years of age, but this is how she does a spelling test. And then eventually we got her to practice and learn, and she managed to score a 5, right, Cam?
Yes.
Okay, and 5, and eventually she within the same year, at the end of the year, by the end of the year, she was creating questions for her parents to do. Yeah, so that's her. We have another individual. Yeah, so 7 out of 10. And then this is the same student, yeah. And then another student that she has helped managed to score 100 for her mathematics at the end of the year. And of course, her Chinese, she got a 96.7. And then English language would be 93.6. Okay, so this is eventually how this student or this individual who is an underachiever eventually helped her own students to create and achieve success. All right, so I'll pass the time back to Cam. I hope the sharing was insightful for all of you.
Mint, I think the individual also has given us permission to share.
Yes.
Who this person is?
That's me.
Okay, so this individual that you saw with the poor O-level results, went to ITE, didn't do well, dropped out of Polytechnic. This is Mint, and she's sitting right in front of you right now as a transformational academic coach.
Right.
The person you read earlier on about, you know, since the age of as early as kindergarten, you know, getting calls every day from the school, not doing well academically, being put in EM3, getting horrible grades in uni. This is me. I wrote into postgrad and I applied actually for a master's program. They came back and they offered me with a doctoral program. Okay, so I shall stop sharing the screen now. This is the reason why Mint and I chose this topic, and this topic is very close to our heart because for the longest time, we have been told that we cannot achieve at a very young age. For myself, at the age of 7, I was told that I will not go anywhere. At the age of 10, my tutor called me stupid in my own house. At the age of 12, when I made it well out of EM3, the principal was kind of sarcastic and said like, oh, so you could go somewhere else other than normal technical, huh? So this is why we continue to work with youth and children who are not only facing academic challenge, but also having behavioral issues in school as well.
Yeah,
okay,
and
so
also for the past 15 years, I've also been working with parents and their educators as well. So I think in a holistic view, it's very important to work together.
Yeah, so the way today's webinar is going to be, Mint and I have been very lucky to have certain individuals impact our life. Without them, I think our own journey wouldn't have been where we are today. So today's emphasis is really for you, right? It doesn't matter if you're a parent, you're an educator, you're a professional working with a child. all of us play a larger part in a child's life and not just serving one purpose. All of us as adults, we model something for the child. Okay, so with that, I hope you will take this time to join us and participate, okay, and answer the questions that we have for you as honest as you can. Okay, so what we've always believed in is it starts from me. Okay, if we want to create something for the children that we work with or our own child or children, it starts with us. Okay, so with that, I'll let Mint take over.
Thank you. Annie, do you have something to share?
I'm good. I'm listening in to the book.
Okay. All right. So I've been reading your comments. We've got some questions up. Thank you so much for being so proactive, and thank you for the encouragement. We have people sharing, say, "Wow, it's nice to see a real life situation here by presenting students' work. I like it." Thank you so much, Jericho, and of course, thank you for all your encouragement. This really means a lot to us. Because in life we have always been told that we cannot study. We are bad people, we are problematic children and all. So it's all about the behavior and not academics. Thanks a lot for sharing. Yes, thank you, Jeremiah. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste a link. Okay, we're going to paste a link. And please go on to another tab and then go in and type in this website and use this code. Okay, and then answer the question that is inside. I'm going to share my screen in a while. So I'd like all of you once again to go to your chat box, go into www.mentee.com and use this code 748432. Okay, I'm going to paste it a few times. Sorry if I spam. I'm going to paste a few times because I know it gets washed out. Okay, so go into www.mentee.com and use the code 748432. Okay, 748432. I'm going to start in a while. I'm sharing my screen now so that all of you can watch what's happening. Website is www.mentee.com. MENTI. Yes, I'm going to share it here again. That's right, mentee.com. Yes, mentee.com. Everyone is sharing already. Thank you so much. The code is 748432. Okay, I'm going to count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 748432. Okay, I think next time we should paste a slide to share that screen and tell everyone what is that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, okay, we should do that next time. Okay, thank you for your feedback. Okay, we have everyone sharing the code. Thank you so much. This is amazing. You guys are amazing. Okay, so let's see what you have so far. Wow, look at that. All these beautiful responses, as descriptive as possible. What do you mean when you say that your child or your student wants to study well? I want my child to improve. Yes. In what sense? As descriptive as possible, to understand the concept and to reproduce them so that the grades are decent. Okay, we talk about grades. We talk about discipline and good manners. Thank you. We talk about how to understand what he is reading, to focus and take things seriously, able to concentrate. Yes. Get good grades. Yes, that's that's very valid. Learn to love learning. Learn to love learning. That's good. Cam, do you see anything there? Anything interesting?
Smart use of time in study.
Wow.
Understand and apply concept. Grow up with discipline and good manners.
Yep, we're going to take about 30 more seconds and then feel free to put in your responses. I want my child to grasp the concept of his or her lessons and be able to apply it on real life setting. Wow, look at that. Most of you actually know what it means by, like, what we want when we mean that the child or student is studying well, huh? Interact with others to have focus. Anything else, Cam?
Come to some basic level to achieve can come to some level to achieve the
basic
basic life skills,
Nice.
interact with others, enjoy with disciplinary.
What do you think of all these
Okay.
responses so far?
I think it's a blend of not just academic, I also see a lot of you wanting them to do better just in life, right? Not just scoring well in quizzes and in tests.
Values as well, and also some good study habits. I see that good study habits, like to focus, to be able to realize his potential, to have time management, able to understand concept, self-motivation.
Maybe some of you who said focus, right? Could you elaborate a bit more? Focus in what? There's so many things that a child can focus in. Okay, share a little bit more. When you say focus, what do you mean?
You can do that in the chat box, actually. You can do that.
I'm looking at the chat. Some of them are like typing in the chat also. Okay, so somebody said on menteemetercom, learn not just from academic lessons, but from life. Self-organize, learn, relearn, and unlearn.
Nice. It's a lot of environment issues as well, as you can see. The environment, in order for my child, and what do you want when we mean for our children or child to study well? It's also like to have a good environment to study in, positive, with right attitude. Nice. They should learn morals and values. Yes. Wow. See, you guys are amazing. When we had this question, when we had this tagline, this program title, the first thing we want to do is to ask you, because you do know, everyone knows. What do you mean by study well?
Okay, so the answer that they gave about focus, some of them said focus means to complete a task within a deadline, focus attentively to understand, focus during class, focus because she's easily distracted, increase attention span, minimize daydreaming and doodling during class.
This doodling, I was thinking it's quite subjective, doodling. Like some students, if they don't doodle, they can't pay attention in class.
Okay, so let me share a little bit. Let me share a little bit about this whole doodling and daydreaming.
Shall I stop sharing, Cam?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep your responses coming. They are still flowing.
So when students doodle and when they write, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're not paying attention. Okay. Sometimes they need something else to move. Okay, to get them moving, right? So that they can actually focus better. Okay, let me give you an example. I had a youth at risk that I was working with, and we were doing group program with them, a group of boys and girls. And for this particular teenager, okay, if he was not given something to do in that moment, if he's not either given something to color or letting him to have a white paper to just scribble on, he will be very disruptive. Okay, he will disrupt the whole class. Then we will spend more of our time doing classroom management more than anything else. But when he is actually given the time to color, he participates really well. He can also answer questions really well, and he doesn't disrupt the rest. Okay? So attention doesn't necessarily mean you sit there, you face the lecturer or teacher, and you're absorbing. Okay, I can tell you this because I am like that. Okay, when I did my postgrad studies in the US, I can't sit there and just have the lecturer talk and just look at my notes. Okay, I won't understand a single thing that they're saying. Okay, I have to be doing something else to get me to be able to actually focus on what they're saying. Okay, now, studying is one thing. Okay, studying is one thing. You have to also understand that how the child takes notes. Note taking is also just as important. It's not about the time that they sit down and just go through the assessment books or textbooks. Okay? There's actually a lot more to studying than just having allocated time crafted to do additional school homework or tuition homework. Okay.
So I'm just thinking from here, which areas or which directions have we as the whether or not I'm a parent, I'm an educator, I'm a psychologist, I'm a therapist. How have we, in which areas have we started helping out the students? I think let's find out. Let's find out. Again, go to your Mentimeter, use the code, and I'm going to go to the next question. Please answer the next question. Nowadays, students do not take note. Might be possible. They do not take note, but have we given them their attention? This is Lee Chia Hiu here. Yeah, you can then answer the next question. In Mentimeter, in which areas am I currently supporting my child or student in achieving that success that all of you have been talking about so far? Okay, give me your responses. Use the same link, the same code, menteemetercom. Code number 748432. I'm going to share my screen again. Take some time, think about it and answer. We'll probably, Cam, will 2 minutes be all right?
1 minute.
1 minute.
I think
okay,
1 minute is
1
fine.
minute.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Which area am I currently supporting my child? I think this is going to answer a lot of questions. This is going to answer a lot of questions from the.
Nice.
Nice.
Discipline is the most common.
Yes, it is of now. Discipline is the most common. Wow, look at that value, speech therapy, fun. I saw fun. Did anyone say fun?
Moral values,
Being
phonics,
independent.
being independent.
What do you mean by being independent? Are you supporting your child to, in terms of being independent, or are you being independent, or you want to be independent? I'm just curious. Very interesting. Look at that. Look at all these beautiful areas that you have mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, guests in the house. Importance of time. Yes. Wow. We still see a lot of values.
Values and discipline, they're fighting for first place.
Writing is coming up. Patience is coming up. Patience. Wow. Look at that.
I see reading too, writing.
Freedom. Values is now up on top. This is so exciting to watch. Discipline is still at the top. I think discipline.
I saw life skills pop up. I think life skills is maybe. I saw motor skills also. Self-confidence, socialization.
Let's give you another 10 seconds. I'm going to screenshot this in case anyone wants it later on. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
work and perseverance.
3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to screenshot this and then, we're going to have a lot to say later on. Okay. Take a look. Cam, I see values as the top.
Yeah, it's still going, and values is still
look at that.
Right at the top. Yeah. So for those of you who have written values, maybe you can share in the chat box. Okay, what kind of values do you want your child or student to have? Because values is really broad, right?
I'm gonna take another screenshot. So the responses are still coming. I think this is
honesty, moral. Okay, so moral value, such as what? What do you mean by moral value? What do you mean by life values? Because that's really broad. Okay, respect, hard work, emotional interest, love and kindness, respect, honesty, kindness. I see a lot of honesty.
Yep.
Patience, hard work.
For parents and educators who, and also for people from all walks of life, if you ask a question, how can I then help my child? How can I support my child? Take a look at yourself. Take a look at all these responses given by everyone else and contributed by all of you here. We have values, we have discipline, and we have writing confidence and the behavior as well. We have so many of this contribution, these areas. So
okay, maybe Min can stop sharing your screen.
Sure.
Okay, listening to our kids' ideas. Okay, achieving confidence, honesty. Okay, thank you all of you for sharing about values. Let me share with you something. So actually, I've worked with youth for like 15 years, right? And also worked with parents. I have worked with youth and a lot of youth from around the region in Southeast Asia. So from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and some from the US. I've worked with those who are in our juvenile system, all the way to those who come from our top schools in Singapore. One of the most common things that all these youths tell me when I ask them, what is it that you want? Okay, and this is the number one thing, the most common thing that they tell me. I want my parents to be proud of me. Okay, I see clients coming in their 20s, in their mid-30s, and when they're having, difficulties in their family, strained relationship, they tell me the same thing. Even in their 20s, in their 30s, they are still telling me, Cam, I want my parents to be proud of me. It's very difficult because our relationship is tough. Okay? With the many parents that I see, they tell me, yeah, I want my child to score good grades, right? And when we actually go deeper into what does that mean, okay? Then they say, I want my child to be happy. Okay? And then when we break that down further, what does happy mean? What does it mean for your child to be happy? Okay, a lot of them eventually just say that actually, I want my child to be a good person, to be able to have enough to support their own life and their own family in the future. Okay, so all these values that you put in, that's why when you put in life values, moral values, we asked you, what does that even mean to you? Okay, and when we started this segment, we said that it starts from me, right? So something for you to think about, how are you incorporating or inculcating these values that you want your child or student to have in their daily life? Okay.
At the end of the day, I think Sheila mentioned something that is really valuable, and that is these children just wanted to be valued. I think that is one, and they feel good when parents and educators were part of them. In fact, yesterday I was sharing on my Facebook that I was actually bullied when I was young. So of all the comments I read, I was encouraged, but I cried when my primary school teacher actually wrote down that, she is proud of me and that we still keep in touch. So she mentioned that she's proud of me and that if she knew I was bullied when I was in primary school, she would have done something to help. But in fact, she did, because whenever I cried, she would allow me to go to her classroom, to her table desk, sit there and just cry for all I want to, and then she will stay back to give me additional tuition after that. And that's why in primary school I was able to score well. So I've been bullied a lot when I was young. And when she mentioned that on my Facebook yesterday, till now, we still keep in touch. She also gave me, even though she's my primary school teacher, she gave me secondary school math tuition so that I can keep up with my work. So she never gave up on me. And that, I think, is really very important. Yeah, it's one of the most important things. So this is one area that we might want to consider. As I'm talking, I think I need tissue. Okay.
I think Jen Chua, you put in something interesting also, that children need recognition for their efforts. Yes. Okay, I was working with a 8-year-old girl, suspected mild ADHD. Okay, so she wasn't diagnosed by me, she was diagnosed by somebody else. She came in not because of her ADHD, her suspected ADHD. She came in because she had other behavioral issues. So basically, I was working with her on behavior modification. The thing that came up was that she can't read well. She doesn't like to read. She hates reading. Okay, and I said that with children I work with, I use a lot of stories in the way that we do the treatment together in looking at difficult behaviors. So I started to ask, how are they teaching? How are you helping her? So I got parents to role play for me, or actually show me how do they go through work with the child. So each time the child mispronounced something, parent will go back to that same word and get the child to pronounce it like 10 times, reread it 10 times before they move forward. If we put ourselves in the child's perspective, if we submit a report to our boss and our boss doesn't like that report and the boss tells you to go back and rewrite it, if you have to rewrite it 10 times, can you all please type in the chat box, how will you feel?
Oh, okay. No.
If we as adults get our work rejected 10 times and our boss tells us redo it
and write it
10 times. Okay, irritated is horrible, disappointed. Okay, somebody put emoji of a poop. Discouraged, rejected, frustrated, low self-esteem, frustrated, lack of confidence.
That's right, and then children needs to be recognized for that.
Exactly. Okay, so that child was very frustrated. The child became very avoidant of studying, of reading. Okay, and they have a lot of trouble getting her to sit down to read. Okay, so I told the parent, don't worry, she will read when she's with me. Okay, so when we read, same thing at the start, she hated it. She'll be walking around my therapy space. She'll talk about everything and anything under the sun except to start reading. Okay, so when I finally got her to read, I said, it's okay, you just read and I'll read with you. How about I read one paragraph and then you read 2 lines? So negotiated with her. And eventually when she mispronounced, all I did was just corrected her and we went on from there. Okay, so the start is not about getting her to pronounce it correctly. It's getting her to build that confidence, to be comfortable around so many words, because we had to rebuild that confidence. Okay, and then just getting her to get used to seeing so many words first, and then slowly getting her to just repeat. That's it. Yep, noted.
Nice. Yeah. So you see, support is very important. So that brings us to our reflection. 1 hour just flew past just like that. I guess the next few questions would actually allow us to have a good understanding from your end, you know, how we can start then supporting our children and our students moving forward. Okay, so again, go back to menteemeter.com, use the same code, I didn't change it, 748432, what do I want for my child? Just spend 30 seconds writing it down. All right, I'm gonna share 30 seconds and then we'll move on to the next question, okay? menteemeter.com, code 748432, once again. All right, so you want her to be happy, yes. I think Cam has managed to share really practical steps on how we can then, you know, do something for our children and our students as well. You want them to be at ease, learn, respect, lifelong learning. All right. Okay. Yes. Happy and contented, happy with themselves. All right. I think overall, every parent, every educator or every adult wants the best for their child and students by wanting them to be happy. Cam have just mentioned that. All right. Let's move on to the next question. Next question. How does success look like for my child? 30 seconds. How does success look like for my child? Confident, loving. Yeah. Actually, Cam, we should show them the foundation for.
It's okay.
What?
We can cover that later. It's okay.
Okay. Look at that. Happy and grateful. Be contented, confident. No criticism, Cam, love. Yes. So at the end of the day, all the adults and educators alike, we just want the best, and you know, we just want them to be happy and contented, responsible. Right. Academically good. Okay. So this is how success look like for your child. Yep. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Third question. How I want my child to be successful. So why do you want them to be happy? Why do you want them to be responsible? Why do you want them to be contented? So that's your definition of being successful children, right? So why do you want them to do that? Yep.
Why? Why do you want your child to be independent?
Yeah. Why do you want your child? Yeah. Why do you want? Because we don't have to suffer in future.
Self-worth, okay.
Yeah.
I want them to be proud of themselves. Okay, so that the child will be happy for lifelong happiness. I love them. Great, he deserves it. I can't read this one. It says, I'm not going to be there forever. Is that the end of that?
You will scroll up, yes.
Okay.
That's the end of it. Wow, look at that. For his bright future. Yeah. For her future and children and his or her children in future.
To survive independently, contribute back to society.
Nice. Look at that. How powerful all these are. To believe in herself. Yes. So I think at the end of the day, it's really up to us for how we want to support them, you know, because success is to be built by the individual. We can support, but we can't give them success. What do you think of this, Ken? While doing that, I'll go to the next question. Please answer the next question, ladies and gentlemen.
it's a cumulative of the experience that they go through in life. You know, it's not just academic. Like I said earlier on, every one of us as an adult, how we interact with the child, all of us play a part in the larger picture of the child's life, you know, and not just, if you're an educator, you're not just purely academic. You know, the child is learning something else from you. The child is watching you problem solve. If you're a parent, the child is watching how you bounce back in difficult times. You know, it's watching how you interact with others. If you're a sports coach, the child watches how you behave during that particular sport that you are coaching, you know.
Give them praises. It was mentioned here.
Show our
Practice.
support.
Yep. Be proud of them. Give them incentives. Cam, what do you think of it?
I don't see that. Okay.
It's in the Zoom chat.
Oh, it's in the Zoom chat. Okay. So this whole thing about motivating, a lot of parents that I've been seeing, they tell me they use gadgets, games to give them incentive. Okay, now the thing is, these are all extrinsic motivation. So the child will complete the work, maybe because, or most likely because they just want to play. You know, it's not so much about them wanting to actually do the work. Okay, so over time, you need to keep increasing whatever reward you're going to give.
Yeah.
Okay. I have had parents who give their child the reward is a Nintendo Switch. Okay, a Nintendo Switch costs about, okay, in these times now, COVID times, it costs about $700-800 as a reward. What's going to be the next big thing after this gadget that costs this much? Okay, so the rewards, you want to use it tactfully, okay, and how you use it is also very important, because over time, it won't stay for long. Okay, yeah, somebody said something. Incentivize won't stay for long.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I think we have to work out a balance between intrinsic and extrinsic.
Yeah, kids will ask for more. So what you will actually want to work on is in the child's intrinsic motivation. Okay, somebody at the earlier slides when Mint and I were sharing our story, was asking me how was I motivated to get to where I am. I'll be very honest with you, when I was in primary school and secondary school, all I wanted to do was play.
Okay, while Cam is talking, I'll go to the next question.
A lot of times, the teachers from kindergarten all the way to secondary school told my parents the same thing. I need to work hard studying. I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't really care. Okay, but there were other things that motivated me. Okay, so I held a lot of leadership positions in school, like a lot. So I was always busy. Okay, I was always busy. Something that inculcated by my mom was reading. Okay, I like to read. And because I held so many leadership positions, it automatically forced me to manage my time. Okay, it forced me to manage my time, because other people will be having recess. I'm having meetings. I reach school at 6:45 or 6:30 every morning. Sometimes at 7 o'clock, I have a meeting. Bell rings at 7:30, school starts. Recess time, I'm having another meeting. After school, I'm having another meeting or CCA. Okay, so it forces me to manage my time. But something that all of you wrote about earlier, okay, values. My family has a big emphasis on values. Okay, a lot of personal values. And that helped me actually in the end at O-levels. Even before O-levels, I told my mom, can you get me a tutor? Okay, at Sec 2, I told my mom, don't waste your money on giving me tuition. I'm not interested. I won't do the work. You will get angry. I will get angry. Tutor get angry. Let's just not waste that money. Okay, and mom begrudgingly said, okay. So I told her, when I need it, I will tell you. Okay, and she did. Okay, she did. I told her at N-levels, I said that now I've made it to O's. I want to do well. Can you get me a tutor?
Are you very close with your mom?
Yeah, I'm very close to my mom. Yeah, I'm very, as mom spends a lot of time with us, even though she's a working mom. Okay, and there's growing up, there's this thing that she always told me. Okay, because I was the one that's causing all problems academically, right? So she told me this, mommy can provide you with all sorts of things. Okay, I can work hard, I can get you the best tutor, I can give you the best in everything. But your future lies in the palm of your own hands. Okay, so essentially, what she's saying is, yeah, I will do my best as a parent, but everything you have to do your part as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for me, the big thing is watching how my parents model time management, how they interact with people, and how they themselves also pursue excellence. Okay, and again, having a very special teacher in my life. I'm still in touch with her also, for not giving up on the class when everyone else have.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
to
I
say
think
that, to say that, you know, we all have certain things that we're good in. If academic is not one of it, there is something else that we're good in.
yeah.
And I think it's the same for Mint. To have good study habits, when I went to postgrad, okay, I will tell you this, you need a good routine. Okay, you need to have discipline. You need to know when to tell yourself, I need to rest. Okay, so something that a lot of students here in Singapore struggle with, they feel guilty when they need to rest. Okay, they feel guilty when they say, I can't take it anymore. Now, when you allow that rest to happen, same thing, you need that structure. Okay,
And
if I
this
say I'm
actually
tired,
brings to, sorry, Cam.
yeah, so you need to know when to have that structure to say if rest time is 15 minutes or 30 minutes, do your best to stick with it. Okay.
So to actually refine, to add on to Cam's sharing, many of us, in fact, we have also brought this habit into work life where we feel guilty when we are sick. We feel guilty when we are working and when we're not working. We feel guilty when we don't, when we don't spend a lot of time trying to meet the deadlines and trying to do something and achieve something for the company, the KPIs, the ROIs. I think this is an issue, and Cam brought out a very good point about having good rest. And Hui Ching, I hope that we answered your question here, because your issue is you do not know how to motivate your son. I think first of all, Cam has mentioned attachment, like get to really know your son and what he likes first, probably. Then from here, figure out what are the intrinsic and extrinsic motivations that will motivate him. Then from there are different types. I think in future, if we can, we will share. And from all these areas, find out what he likes, and then test trial and error. I think that's the next thing to do, because it's never a straight answer. There's no one answer. So also you can check out this. Everyone has shared, how can I better help my student cultivate good study habits? This is one of the questions that one of our participants, attendees have asked. And yes, look at this. I believe we have almost 300 questions, 300 responses here. How to cultivate and inculcate good study habits here. Cam has mentioned time management. She has also mentioned routine. She has also mentioned have enough rest time. I think that is very important. A lot of parents, you drown your children in lots and lots of tuition, lots and lots of assessment books. They have to be better managed. And they don't know how to manage. It's up to you. Okay, and finally, last question. What have you discovered about yourself today as someone who is supporting your child? I believe this is the last question, Camellia.
Yes.
So what have you discovered after our sharing and also your own sharing? What have you discovered?
Mirror. What do you mean by mirror? That I need to set priorities. Awesome. What do you mean by that? Supportive and loving parent. Resiliency and self-efficacy, that I can still do something for my child and students. That's great. Doing fairly okay. That I should know my child better, learning style. I'm a very confident person. Be nice to our child and keep pace about his ability. Discover that I want my child to be like me. Interesting. I discovered that every child has different development.
Okay, I just realized that most of the attendees, when they type in the group chat, we are the only ones who can see it. That's why we are the ones talking. So everyone, you please select all panelists and attendees if you want to give some feedbacks.
Okay, so I need to spend more time with my child. Great. We have different ideas. Need to be more organized and consistent. Consistency is key. Okay, consistency is key. All right. I have parents come in and tell me they set curfew time, timeout time, and they don't keep to it. They tell the child, you're put on timeout, not timeout, grounded. You're grounded for 3 days. The child behaves in 1 day, they remove that grounding. Okay, my parents now tell me they let the child relax for sometimes only 5 minutes, sometimes depending if they're good mood, maybe 30 minutes. And then they say the child is not organized because the child cannot read you when you're not consistent. Okay. A family member to involve the
I think most
child
of
learning.
them, in summary, right, most of them have put down that giving support. They realize that they should be giving support and prioritize their children more, prioritize more of their child. And also, like, we have people who say that, you know, they realize that they are being consistent with how they are coaching their children and also their students. So to be more open-minded and to learn from them. I think in summary, that's a lot of this that came out from the responses that they give. Thank you so much for sharing. I'll stop sharing the screen now and I'll pass Cam.
Okay, I think we do have some questions. So we've been answering questions actually on the go. I don't know if you have noticed that. We do have some more questions I think that came in, and we will, I think Eblity side will take the time to send us those questions and we will take the time to answer it. Some of you have been asking whether you will get the recording, whether you get screenshots of all this. Yes, so Inpsychful on our end, we will take the screenshot, we will take the captions of everything that all of you have put it together, your responses, and we will send it to you. Is that Dr. Rina? Rina, I think Dr. Rina is here. If that is the same, oh, Dr. Rina was my lecturer.
Nice.
Hi, Dr. Rina. Yeah, so I'm actually quite surprised. I didn't know she was going to be here. So what we really wanted this session to be was for parents to have to start reflecting. Okay, some of you said that I need to be consistent. Some of you said that I need to know my child better. The very first step is to know yourself first. Okay, we will be working together with Eblity to come up with additional series to answer more questions pertaining to things like how do we motivate our child intrinsically and extrinsically. Okay, how do we attend to behavioral issues with our child? Okay, how do we support our child emotionally? These are
Discipline
questions,
and routines as well.
Yeah, how do we be consistent? Okay, how do we be consistent in disciplining? Okay, these are very good questions, and these are questions that we will answer in the next few sessions of this series. So thank you everyone for taking the time to be with us and also allowing us to share our story and why we are doing what we do.
Thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Camellia and Mint. Very, very interesting and informative presentation indeed, yeah. All right, I shall now launch part 2, okay, part 2 of the polling segment. And here is where I will need to seek your cooperation to participate in a little poll that we have put together for you. Okay, so the poll is available right now. In fact, it will be open for the next 10 seconds. Okay, just so you know, this poll is going to be very extremely important for us at Eblity because this would allow us to have a rough idea of what type of topics that we can incorporate in, you know, our upcoming webinars. And of course, Camellia, I'd like you to flash the last slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. For those of you who has further questions for our guest speakers, well, they are contactable through emails and also through the Inpsychful website. So Camellia will be flashing the slide and you can actually refer to the contact details. Yes, you can refer to the email address as well as Inpsychful website for you know, further questions you want to ask our guest speakers. Okay, and of course, as per what Camellia has shared earlier on, for those of you who are watching this live and would like to get copies of the video recording of this webinar, we will be sending to you the video recording a couple of days after this webinar. And then we'll also be sending to you all the question and answers as well, together with the Mentimeter's report sheet and all the responses and comments that we have received from all participants, okay? Okay, with that, I shall wrap up the polling segment. Wow, we've got quite a lot of...
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for encouragement.
Thanks, everyone.
Of course, once again, thank you so much to both Camellia and Min for spending time with us this afternoon. Before I wrap up, today's webinar, any last words you have for parents out there or students watching this live broadcast? Do you have any, tips or any last words you'd like to share with everyone?
Min, do you want to go first?
More to come. That's all I want to share. More to come. Please join us, share with your friends, the other parents and educators as well. We hope to have more sessions like this because it's really fruitful to me. It also opened my eyes to a lot more feedbacks and responses, and also how I can deal with my own students as well. So thank you very much for sharing. Amazing.
For myself, I think to parents and educators, trust the process. Okay, this is something that I've told my students that I work with, trust the process. That how your child is doing the here and now is, if it's not well, it's not doom and gloom. Okay, so trust the process and continue to build your relationship with your child. Okay, that's at the end of the day, that's the most important thing that your child will need as they grow up. Okay. Thank you so much for giving us your time this weekend.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. With that, we wrap up today's session, and thank you so much for your time. Till the next webinar, hope you have a great weekend and stay safe. Bye.
Bye.